You know, tonight as I stand here, we're just 12 days away from the big election. I know you can't wait for the political ads to end, but it also means that we're seeing a last burst of action on the political front as the campaigns fight to convince undecided voters to join their camp. And for two key congressional House races in our region, that meant a visit from none other than the Speaker of the House. It's our big story tonight. Yep, you heard that one right. In a region that often does not see the big GOP names making stops, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, was in both Southwest Washington and Clackamas County today. He was stumping for Republicans in two key races that could make or break the slim majority that Johnson and the GOP have in the House, and therefore affect Johnson's speakership as well. Alma McCarty is live in Oregon City tonight, where Johnson made his latest stop. Alma?
Yeah, Pat, Speaker Mike Johnson was here, like you said, Oregon City, speaking around 4 o'clock this afternoon, and he called Representative Lori Chavez-DeRemer a VIP in Congress, a serious person who can take on serious challenges. Now, both in this district and to the room of about 150 supporters, he touted her bipartisan record and said she has more labor union endorsements than any other Republican he's ever seen in his life.
You've got one of the hardest working people, one of the most effective people, one of the most bipartisan legislators. She literally is ranked the second most bipartisan legislator in Congress. That's what we need right now. We need somebody who can sit down, get everybody who has all their different ideas around the table and build consensus so we can move the ball forward for the most people.
Congresswoman Chavez-DeRemer pushing that message herself, saying she'll work with anyone who works with her on issues impacting Oregonians, from the drug crisis to public safety to helping veterans. She admits this race will be close.
I will be your representative in the 119th Congress, but I cannot do it without your vote. I cannot do it without you not calling 10 people and saying, get out and vote. This is an expensive race, because they want me out.
Now, in response to the visit from the Speaker of the House, Janelle Bynum, the Democrat in this race, wrote, Lori Chavez-DeRemer has tried to mislead voters on her abortion record, but standing by one of the most extreme anti-abortion legislators, Mike Johnson, further confirms she is a direct threat to reproductive rights in Congress. She has been given every opportunity to represent and deliver for Oregon, but has chosen to side with MAGA extremists time and time again. Yeah, neither candidate in this race mincing words less than 2 weeks out from Election Day. Pat, back to you.
Thanks, Alma. Great job. Before that event in Oregon City today, by the way, Speaker Johnson was in Ridgefield, Washington, showing support for Joe Kent. The Republican is in a rematch with Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez, a Democrat, in Washington's 3rd Congressional District. Blair Best was there to cover that one for us.
Mike Johnson, Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, in Ridgefield, Washington on Thursday, supporting Republican Joe Kent.
Let's give a warm Southwest Washington welcome to Speaker Mike Johnson.
As the race for Washington's 3rd Congressional District reaches its final days, it's grabbing national attention, with Republicans' power in the House on the line.
My presence here shows you how important this district is for all of America. Everybody's watching you all, okay?
Speaker Johnson, what is the strategy behind coming to Southwest Washington just 12 days out before the election?
Well, it shows you how important this race is to us. This district in Washington is one that everybody around the country is watching because it's so important. It's rated as one of the closest toss-up seats and one that the Republican Party should win.
Back in 2022, Kent, a Special Forces Green Beret and Gold Star husband, lost to Democrat Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez by less than 3,000 votes. And recent polling shows the two once again neck and neck.
We are right now tied up with Marie Perez.
Serious times call for serious leaders. And that's why Joe is the right guy for this moment in time.
We caught up with Gluesenkamp-Perez early Thursday on her RV tour of Pacific County.
I think it's reflective that what interests Joe is power and access to, celebrities. But I'm here because I love our community and I want to spend time in it, and I value what we have here.
Does it make you nervous at all? The race is so tight. Do you feel like this could push voters in his favor?
I don't know how many people know who Mike Johnson is. I mean, I certainly didn't follow politics before this, and I wouldn't have probably seen Mike Johnson as somebody who would influence my vote. I think we're pretty independent here in our community.
Blair Best joins me now. Blair, give us a feel for Speaker Johnson's tone out there today.
Pat, it was confident but cautionary. He was almost like warning the people here what he believes would happen if they don't vote Republican. He said he thinks we're on the verge of a World War III. He said more than once he thinks this is a dangerous time for our country. But it's really no secret that the people here today were not the ones they were trying to convince. You know, many of them had already voted, but he was encouraging them to go home and tell their friends and family. Speaker Johnson, he touched on all the typical talking points, the economy, border security, energy policy, and I actually got a chance to ask him what he believes is at stake for Republicans in this election. What is at stake for Republicans in this election?
Well, everything's at stake. I mean, we're now, I just told this crowd out here, the way I summarize it all around the country, and I've done this in about 240 cities in 40 states now, is that we're not really in a contest anymore just between Republicans and Democrats, because the Democrat philosophy, the party at the national level, has really left a lot of the people behind. And so we're in a contest between two completely different visions.
Now, Speaker Johnson tells me today that he will be running for Speaker again next year, and if Republicans maintain their majority in that chamber, he thinks he's going to win. But again, that slim majority hinges on races like this one here in Washington's 3rd District. Pat?
Well, Blair, what's the deal with the location of that rally today? It kind of looks like you're maybe in almost a random parking lot.
Yeah, we are. We are literally standing in an empty parking lot along the freeway. And Pat, let's just say the planning and organizing of this rally was rather poor. At first, it was going to be outside, and then at the last minute, they changed their mind and they wanted to hold it inside this building behind me. But then a large crowd showed up with lawn chairs, you know, anticipating it was going to be outside, and the room they chose inside wasn't big enough. So, and they wouldn't let media inside. So we, along with everyone else, we had to stand outside for an hour as they figured out what was going on. Then they brought speakers outside, and it was like a mad dash to the front. And that's honestly why some of the video is of the sides of their faces, because we had all we could do to set up our cameras and get as close as we could. But before we leave you and we head back to Portland, I wanted to share one of the lighter moments today, and that is Speaker Johnson attempting to impersonate former President Donald Trump.
I was on the phone with President Trump yesterday morning. He's very excited, okay? He said, Mike, we're going to win this thing all the way across the country.
Okay, thanks, Blair. I can't say really that I've heard the Speaker of the House impersonating the president before. Thanks, Blair. Appreciate it. Great stuff as always. All right, so now let's add a little bit of context here. Namely, does this visit even matter? Will it move the needle and help Republicans win? To answer that question, I turn to Kevin Looper. He's a Portland area Democratic political strategist. And yes, I do hear some of you Republicans howling in protest that he's biased. But listen, I think he is playing it straight here, and he knows what he's talking about. He's run multiple big campaigns. He knows what it's like on the inside, especially as it gets close to the end here. He says at this late date, the answer is no, it does not matter. It does not move the needle regardless of whether it's a Democrat or a Republican trying to get votes for their candidate.
Very hard to say whether or not there is any evidence that it makes an appreciable difference. We're at the stage of the campaign where the whole strategy is look-a-busy. And that's what the parties are doing right now. There's not much they can do. They've allocated all of their last dollars for spending. They still have white-knuckled phone calls every day going over the poll numbers. I know, for instance, in the DeRemer Bynum race, both sides' internal polls, according to what I'm hearing, show them up one. So one of them's right, one of them's wrong, but it's certainly a close race, and nobody in politics can do nothing while they're waiting for the water to boil.
All right, well, what about the undecided voters, you ask? Well, Looper says they likely are not watching this excellent news show right now and were not at any of the events where Johnson spoke today. So really, he says, it makes no difference.
No, I've had the president out here to Oregon a couple of times. When you do events that bring in a truly big name like Barack Obama, it does have an effect on being able to raise money, for sure. You charge people for access. It's $5,000 to have your picture taken with the president, and that money goes to help your local efforts to turn out the vote. It's an appreciable thing. It also costs you a bunch of money to do it, so it's not like you don't have pluses and minuses, but you absolutely, on the whole, do it. You get a newspaper article out of it. It's a marginal improvement in whatever your lie was before that. When you get down to the Speaker of the House coming out, that doesn't count as a big name for anybody besides those of us who live and breathe politics every day, which is not the voters you're trying to reach. So it really doesn't do much for you in the press. It doesn't turn out new voters. Unless Mike's got some relatives out here that are undecided on the race, I'm not sure he's going to pull anybody into the Republican column. But they can't do nothing, so they send him.
Great insight. Thanks, Kevin. I know that some of you may still be undecided on the 5th District race, and if so, send us an email, will you? Did Speaker Johnson's visit sway you one way or the other? Our email is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090. I look forward to hearing from you.